Deep in the shadows, I know it's hard to put one foot in front of the other.
Hi everyone, C Chronicles here, back again with another fragrance review video. If you're joining me here for the very first time, I post fragrance related content on this platform and would very much appreciate it if you did consider subscribing. And to those who are returning, thank you so much guys for the continued support. I appreciate you guys as always. Also do check out my second channel, C Chronicles Lifestyle. I will drop the link in the description as well as pin a comment for ease of transition in case you want to find the channel quickly. Now, welcome to today's video guys. I have been feeling under the weather, but as you can see, I'm up and running now. I'm okay. I'm feeling way better. I even managed to do my lashes and stuff because I had one hell of a flu, and that flu, it was just something else. So tested 1 or 2, 3, 4, 5 fragrances and was able to smell them nicely. I thought, okay, fine. I think I can bring a quick review of this fragrance to you guys. Today, I have a Cherry Collar from the Emir collection of Paris Corner. Now, the reason behind this, me buying this fragrance, guys, was the collar note, okay, the Coca-Cola note. And this is the bottle, right? Kind of looks purplish, that style of, bottle there, and obviously inspired by Montal's Tonka collar. I'm gonna spray it on my arm, guys, because this is one fragrance I am enjoying, honestly. This fragrance opens up with like a synthetic, kind of like an artificial synthetic leaning cherry there. That is a burst that you're gonna get at right there in the opening, and then a delicious Coca-Cola note comes into the mix. Very realistic is this Coca-Cola note. You're gonna get a burst of synthetic leaning cherry just there in the opening, and then the Coca-Cola note comes in the mix there. For some of you guys, you might just dive straight into the Coca-Cola, but this is a fragrance that shares the cherry note together with the Coca-Cola note there, of course with the tonka and all the nice stuff like vanilla, and patchouli as well, right? So first impressions to my nose was, forget about all the Coca-Cola fragrances that you've smelled, Cecilia. This is one of the most photorealistic Coca-Cola smelling fragrance so far in my collection. By that, I'm saying it doesn't, it puts fragrances like Estée Lauder's Youth Dew into question, like where's the Coca-Cola really in that fragrance? Like this is how photorealistic this one is. Then that same Coca-Cola is joined in there by a spicy cinnamon, right? And the cinnamon's spiciness that comes into the mix together with nutmeg and earthy patchouli, which gives like a slightly woody undertone. I think it's just there to add weight to this fragrance. And it is in the introduction of that cinnamon that this fragrance then gets like a warm weight to it, like a warm, comforting weight to it. So it's definitely on the gourmand side, this fragrance, and also on the artistry side of perfumery, okay, in the sense that it's non-traditional. This is not your typical fruity, floral, everyday type of fragrance that you're gonna get there. This is quite different in that regard. So all the notes in this fragrance, guys, marry perfectly. And for a fragrance that hasn't been in my collection for the longest time, I'm going to give it a little bit of some credit in the sense that the mixture in itself, just to my nose, feels as though it's likely to thicken because it does have like a syrupy weight to it. So it's probably going to be a mixture that thickens over time. However, just rating it based off first impressions, I'm going to say it is a fragrance that I wore today and I could smell it presently for about 3 hours. After that, it just became, a fragrance that was very close to myself. The very first hour, you're going to get compliments. You're going to get people asking you whether or not, you have like a syrupy thing going on yourself. And of course, some people are going to comment in the tune of, oh, there's something that smells like cherry there, because the same Coca-Cola then ends up kind of drifting between the Coca-Cola and the cherry to an extent that some people will say, I just get cherry in this fragrance. And then there's also a nutty nuance. Okay, it does have a nutty nuance. Now I'm just gonna say or point out a few cons to this fragrance. This fragrance is going to be a scenario where it's either your nose does get that Coca-Cola note, and holds on to that Coca-Cola note, or the Coca-Cola note mixing with the cherry there and a little bit of some spicy, warm, like aromatic kick there will maybe leave some feeling as though this is cough syrupy. If for some reason you get like a cough syrupy thing, it might just be the way your nose has processed this fragrance. There is an earthy patchouli that comes into the mix here, giving it like a, almost like a slightly woody twist there, where for some it might be a little bit too much because the patchouli does kind of weigh in a little bit over the top. Another thing that could be a con or a pro, I don't know, but I thought to also mention it in this video, is the fact that the cherry kind of has or interprets in the same way as that of a lost cherry. So for some people, it's going to be a fragrance that's going to remind them so much of how that cherry in a lost cherry fragrance is blended there, because it does feel like that, especially as it dries down there. So it's in between you smelling a photorealistic, Coca-Cola note. I mean, some warm spices there. I mean, some mild woodiness there. And of course, that patchouli, a tonka in the mix here, just adding like a woody thing there. And of course, a nutmeg, just adding some weight to this fragrance. I do hope that after this fragrance sits a little bit in my collection, it thickens, because it is a perfect, it's really like photorealistic and very enjoyable there in the opening. If of course it settles to become a fragrance that lasts longer than, say, for instance, 6 or 8 hours. But for now, spraying it and first impressions, because I wore this the whole day, I got a fragrance that I could smell actively for about 3-4 hours there, and then it just kind of became so very close to my skin. Season, when it comes to this is a warm fragrance, guys, so I get like a fall and maybe cold days and winter nights kind of a fragrance. But the way it's interpreting light at the moment, I can also say that it's going to be an all year round type of fragrance. And it is a fragrance, guys, that is genderless. So it's going to be gender neutral. This is not going to be a fragrance, I'm going to say, men or women. And that Coca-Cola Accord, guys, is going to be adding some familiarity to this fragrance to an extent that any age group can, of course, wear this fragrance. Well, of course, say for the very, very young, person out there, but anybody, say maybe even from the teens upwards, will possibly enjoy this fragrance, because niche as it is, it's not heady, it's not too spicy. It just, sticks to that theme of the cherry and the Coca-Cola note, and makes that the center stage of this, with a slight woodiness there that adds the weight to this fragrance. Occasion can be suit and tie. It can be even casual, because it just comes across as a beautiful gourmand, guys. So probably going to revisit it in a future video, where I maybe group it with other fragrances, just to update you as to the progress it would have made in terms of maceration, because as of now, I am getting a very gorgeous smelling fragrance, but that's not doing the most in terms of lasting power. I'm going to add a backup bottle of this fragrance if it improves. If not, then this is one fragrance that's definitely going to make me add Mancera's Tonka Cola to my collection, because I absolutely like the vibe, and I know the way Mancera's are like, most of them are beastly. So I would probably add the real thing, just based off this, I would probably add the real thing if this does not improve. So that's what I had for you guys. Cherry Cola there from the company Paris Corner of their Emir line, and this is obviously inspired by Mancera's Tonka Cola. So if you're looking to test Mancera's Tonka Cola, if you can't afford that one, or you can access this one and this one is priced right, then you could kind of maybe try that and then dive in. CeeChronicles is my name. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me today. Let's meet in the comment section, guys, where we obviously discuss more about fragrances. Let me know if you have this fragrance and if it sounds interesting enough for you to want to add to your collection. But do remember, there is that familiarity, guys, of that cherry that's probably going to remind you of maybe Tom Ford's Lost Cherry, the way that cherry is made. That is the only thing I can say. Maybe it's going to leave some people there not so keen on this fragrance, because it does dry down to something along them lines. But the Coca-Cola note is very photorealistic. Do turn on post notifications, guys, while you're at it. That way you get to be notified anytime I upload a video. Like and share this one meanwhile, and remember that smelling good is a form of good manners. Cheers.